Guys, can you please come to, guys, please confirm, please come this side. Guys, please confirm to me, all of you get my voice on screen, those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me, all of you get my voice on screen, those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me, all of you get my voice on screen. All right, good evening, guys. And check it what we completed in the last session. I think so. We are discussing about the differences between Java and other programming languages. The topic here we are discussing there. In the differences between Java and others and other programming languages, almost all 4 differences we completed. Now we are understanding about like what their 5th difference. What are these 4 differences here we are having there? Understand it now? That 4 differences would be like what there? First one is C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is what there? A dynamic programming language. Preprocessor is required in C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. Next one is C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages, but Java is platform independent programming language. And after that, after completion of this, like pointers are existed in the C and C++, but pointers are not existed in Java. So these are overall the points what you are having about this particular content. Got it? All right, sir. Now today the topic is like what there multiple inheritance is not available in Java. So before going to understand whether multiple inheritance is available or not available in Java, before that, first of all, what is multiple inheritance? What exactly the problem with the multiple inheritance? Why it is not available in Java? All these points can we have to understand clearly. Let's give some clarity there. Now try to understand it now. Java is an object-oriented programming language or not? Simple question. Java is what there? An object-oriented programming language. What is the meaning of this object-oriented programming language? What you are thinking about it? Object-oriented programming language. First of all, tell me when a programming language is an object-oriented programming language. When we are able to say one programming language is an object-oriented programming language. I'll give some clarity. Now try to understand it now clearly. If any programming language, observe carefully, if any programming language is able to represent data in the form of objects by following object-oriented features. Everybody understand my point clearly? If any programming language is able to represent data in the form of objects, by following object-oriented features, then that programming language is called an object-oriented programming language. It's called as what there? An object-oriented programming language. That's it. Simple punch. Come again. What is the point I said to you? If any programming language is able to represent data in the form of objects by following object-oriented features. then that programming language is what? An object-oriented programming language. But what are the various object-oriented features are available? What are the various object-oriented features are available in general in object orientation? Now, if you observe this, there are 7 object-oriented features. There are 7 object-oriented features to represent data in the form of objects. What are the 7 number of object-oriented features now? First one is class. Everybody understand this clearly? First one is what there? Class. Second one is what there? An object. Object. Third one is like what there? Encapsulation. And fourth one is an abstraction. Next one is what there? Inheritance. Inheritance. Next one is polymorphism. The last one is what there? Message passing. Most of the people are not including this message passing in object oriented features, no, but it is also be one of the object oriented feature. Overall, the 7 number of object oriented features are existed here. You can understand clearly. Right, sir. What are the various object oriented features? Now tell me. First one is what there? Class. Next one is what there? Object. Next one is encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. These are the overall object-oriented features what we are having in Java. Clear? Now observe carefully. Now here today our concept is like what there multiple inheritance is not available in Java. That is our actual point today. Now I need to discuss first what is multiple inheritance. If you want to understand what is multiple inheritance, first we have to understand what is inheritance. If you want to understand inheritance, first we have to understand where inheritance is available. Where exactly inheritance is existed here. Understand it clearly. Inheritance is available in object-oriented features. Sorry. This object-oriented feature, this object-oriented features, inheritance object-oriented feature is available in object-oriented programming languages. That's why I started this total topic today right from object-oriented programming languages. Understand the links clearly. Now we have to understand clearly now inheritance. What exactly the meaning of inheritance? What is the meaning of this inheritance? Observe carefully. Observe carefully, guys. In object-oriented programming language, complete programming, the total programs we are going to prepare with classes only. Classes and interfaces, of course, classes, majorly classes. In object orientation, programming we are going to provide with what their classes only. Understand? Fine. Different classes we are going to write. Class student, class employee, class product, class account. Any real world entity we can represent in the form of a class. All the real world entities we can represent in the form of the classes. That's why I'm taking examples like what there class employee, class customer, class product, class transaction, class like what there something else student, class course. All the every real world entity is treated as what there a class. Good, that's okay. That is in general object oriented programming now. But in object oriented programming, what is this inheritance here? What is the meaning of this inheritance? No, now observe carefully. It is a it is a relation between classes. Inheritance is what there? It is a relation between classes. Okay. What this relation is able to provide for us? What this relation is giving flexibility for us? It is able to provide variables and methods. Inside the classes, we are going to provide variables and methods only. So it is able to provide variables and methods from one class to another class. Yes, sir? All of you understand this point here? It is able to provide variables and methods from one class to another class. That's it. For what purpose? I'll give next point here now. All of you observe carefully. It is a relation between classes It is able to provide variables and methods from one class to another class. Please remember this. It is able to provide variables and methods from one class to another class. Here we are saying now the class which is providing variables and methods to other class. The class which is providing variables and methods to other class is called as a parent class, is also be called as a base class, or is also be called as a super class. Please all of you recognize this. They are the different terminologies here we can understand clearly. Tell me, come again, what is the point I'm telling there? The class which is providing variables and methods to other classes is what their parent class or base class or what their super class. Observe carefully. Next one is to another class. We are saying that to what there another class. What is the meaning of this another class actually? The class which is getting variables and methods from a class. The class which is getting variables and methods from another class. This class is called as like what there? It is a child class or derived class or subclass. All of you observe carefully. If you say parent class now, here it is what their child class. If you say base class there, then it is what their derived class. If you say super class now, then it is what their subclass. But in Java, the actual terminology is superclass and subclass. The remaining terminologies are in general terminologies only. They might be worked out in other programming languages, but not in Java. But in Java, only the terminology is what their superclass and subclass. So can I delete these concepts here? No? Can I delete these things here? Anyway, they are not available in Java. They might be available in C++. I think so. It's a in general terminology only, but they are not like what there in the case of Java. Just for your understanding purpose, I've written all this content here. Otherwise, it's not required for us. Okay, fine. Now tell me, finally, inheritance is the relation between superclass and subclass or not? That inheritance relation is providing variables and methods from superclass to subclass or not? Come on, guys. We have to understand this point here now. All right. The next one is what there. The main advantage of inheritance is what there? For what purpose variables and methods are coming from superclass to subclass? For what purpose variables and methods are coming from superclass to subclass? For reusability purpose or not? Declared in superclass, we can reuse that in subclasses now. So automatically reusability is an advantage or not? So the main advantage of inheritance is what there? Code reusability. The main advantage of inheritance is what there? Code reusability. Everybody understand my point clearly? So this is the main advantage of what there? Code reusability. That means what is the meaning of code reusability? Right. In the case of inheritance, I will explain this through diagrammatically. Don't worry for it. In the case of inheritance, we can declare the code at a superclass and we can reuse the same code at any number of subclasses. How inheritance is providing code reusability? If it is a question, no, declare your code in superclass. Originally provide your code in superclass. That code we can reuse in any number of subclasses. I'll show through diagrammatically. I'm able to show. Don't need to worry for it. Okay, clear. So this is about basic awareness and like what their inheritance. Now coming to the types of inheritances. How many types of inheritances are available? Now coming to this particular point here. All right, sir. Now understand this clearly. Initially, there are two types of inheritances. Initially, there are two types of inheritances. Not five types initially. Initially, there are two types of inheritances. What are the two types of inheritances initially? First one is single inheritance. First one is what there? Single inheritance. And the second one is like what there? Multiple inheritance. First one is what there? Single inheritance. And second one is what there? Multiple inheritance. Initially only these two are available. Later on, what happened there? On the basis of the above two inheritances, there are three more inheritances. There are three more inheritances. What are the three more inheritances here we are having there? On the basis of the above two inheritances, there are three more inheritances are defined. What are the three more inheritances here? We can observe carefully. First one is like what there? Multi-level inheritance. What is this actually? Multi-level inheritance. Next one is hierarchical inheritance. Next one is what there? Hierarchical inheritance. And the third one is like what there? Hybrid inheritance. Third one is what there? Hybrid inheritance. Observe carefully. These are overall types of inheritances here what we are having now. Now overall 5 types now. But initially what inheritances are available? 2 types. What are the 2 types now? Single inheritance and a multiple inheritance. Later on 3 more inheritances are provided. What are the 3 more inheritances are provided here now? Multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance. Is it? All of you are getting it or not? So this is exactly the meaning of like what there, the total types of inheritances here what we are having clearly. But out of all these inheritances, what are required now? Multiple inheritance. Today our topic is like what there? Today our content is what there? Multiple inheritance is not available in Java. Why it is not available in Java? If you want to know, first we have to understand what is multiple inheritance. If you want to understand what is multiple inheritance, first we have to understand at least what is single inheritance. After that we will move on to what are there? Multiple inheritance. But today I'm not going to discuss about all the remaining 3 types now. These remaining 3 types I will discuss in object orientation. We have a separate topic, object orientation. The inheritance again, there is a separate topic. There I'm going to talk about what there all the types of inheritances. No, but at present I want to talk about only these 2 types of inheritances. Clear? Now let's move on to the point here. What is this single inheritance here now? What exactly the meaning of single inheritance? See this point here. Definition is very simple. Now try to understand this clearly. It is a relation between classes. It is a again relation between classes. Okay. Every inheritance is a relation between classes only. But what is the specialty of single inheritance? It is a relation between classes. It will provide variables and methods from. It will provide variables and methods from only one superclass to only one superclass to one or more subclasses, one or more number of subclasses. Everybody observe carefully. All right, sir. The point is what there? It is a relation between classes. It will provide variables and methods from only one superclass. How many parent classes are available? Only one. But the number of subclasses may be anything, any number. We have condition on only number of superclasses. We don't have any condition on number of subclasses. Understand my point here? So this is exactly the meaning of what there? Single inheritance. Are you getting it or not? Okay. Now here, Java does a support. Java does a support single inheritance. Let me show in a diagrammatic manner. Okay? How this inheritance is going to be represented in the form of this single inheritance. No, all of you observe carefully. Let me show some diagrammatic representation, everybody. For example, this is superclass. Here I want to take. Now inside this superclass, now I want to declare it is a class A, for example. Inside this class A, I want to declare a variable int I is equal to 10. Then after that, I want to declare a method void m1 method. Just open and close. Nothing I have written here. The programming we are going to show that, but understand it now clearly. This is my class A where I variable and m1 method I declared. Next one is after that. Here I am going to provide like what there another class. What about this another class? No subclass I want to take. Of course, in place of this subclass, class B, we can take any number of classes there. Class B, class C, class D, any number of subclasses we can take. We don't have any problem here. Now observe carefully. I want to represent this inheritance relation by using an arrow, upwards arrow. Observe carefully. This is the representation of the inheritance. This up arrow is representing what? Their inheritance. Arrow header part is representing always a superclass. Arrow Tyler part is always representing what? Their subclass. Don't reverse it. If you reverse it, the total meaning is going to be changed. Arrow header part is always pointing what? Their superclass. It is a superclass. Like this, it is saying that Tyler part is representing what? Their subclass. Okay, now we declared variable and method in superclass or not? That we have to access inside the subclass or not? We declared variable and method in superclass that we have to access in what? Their subclass here. So here what I'm going to do there directly, I want to call I is equal to I plus 10. We call it no. This is the meaning of accessing. Declared variable, where I variable declared in superclass that we accessed inside the subclass. Next one is we define M1 method in the superclass that we are calling, that we are accessing inside like what? Their subclasses. Yes, all of you are getting clarity or not? Now this is exactly the meaning of like what? Their superclass and subclass content here. Now here I want to provide the relationship is like what? Their extends. In the case of Java, there is a keyword to represent this inheritance. That is what? Their extends keyword. Now all of you observe carefully. This is like what I'm telling to you, single inheritance. Now this is supported by Java. This is supported by Java. Java doesn't have any problem to support this particular content here. Now it is available inside the Java. Required programming and everything we will discuss there in object orientation, but conceptually we have to understand now. Our actual point is what? There multiple inheritance is not possible. Why it is not possible, that we are going to understand now. Okay, fine. This is completed case. Then after that, after completion of this particular point here, another one. Now try to understand this another content here. Second one is what? There multiple inheritance. The second one is what? There multiple inheritance. What is this multiple inheritance? First of all, tell me what is this single inheritance? No, what exactly the meaning of this single inheritance? All of you observe carefully. It is a relation between classes. It will provide variables and methods from only one superclass. Am I right or not? In the case of multiple inheritance, it is a relation between classes. It will provide variables and methods from more than one superclass to one or more number of subclasses. Again, there is a conditional number of superclasses. If the superclass is only one, single inheritance. If the superclass are more than one, multiple inheritance. Please recognize this punch. Right, sir. Now, Java does not support multiple inheritance. Java does not support what? There multiple inheritance. Why Java does not support multiple inheritance? We are going to understand it now. All of you observe carefully. First of all, let me check this. How multiple inheritance is available here. Now let me check this. Say for example, everybody put more concentration here. Almost all we are coming to the conclusion. Almost all we are coming to the climax. Understand it now. Now here I want to take this is a class K and this is a class B. Two super classes here I am going to take. Now this is my subclass. Now here I am going to represent the arrows like this. Now here I want to provide like what there class A. Here I want to provide like what there class B. Now here class C. There we have to understand like what their extents. Now observe carefully. For class C, how many superclass are available? Two superclass are available or not? Observe carefully, all of you know. In superclass K, int I is equal to 10. Void M1 method is existed. Of course, inside this method, some implementations are also be existed. X implementation, we can understand the code. X code is available here. Inside like what there class A superclass. Now in a class B superclass, what you are having there now, int j is equal to 20, it is available. Void M2 method, it is existed here. Now here also be some implementation is existed here. Alright, so like this. Here we are having like this. Class A, class B, into I is equal 10, void M1 method, into J is equal 20, void M2 method. In two super classes, both the superclass are having their own variables and their own methods. But class C is a child class for both the superclass or not? Class C is a single child class for both the superclass or not? So both the superclass members are accessible inside the child class C. Both the superclass methods members are available to child class C. So we can access directly both the superclass members inside the child class now. Now here inside this class C, what we are able to do there, I is equal to I plus 10 semicolon, J is equal to J plus 20 semicolon. M1 method here we can access. At the same time, M2 method also here we can access. Mr. Got it or not? Okay, fine. Now this is exactly the meaning of like what there, multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. All right, sir. Now this is not possible in Java. This is not possible in Java. What is multiple inheritance? We understood. I'm saying directly it is not possible in Java. But why it is not possible in Java? What problem is available with this multiple inheritance? Up to now, I have not seen any problem here. But still, why it is not possible inside the Java? I will take next example or try to understand it clearly. All of you guys observe carefully. What is the point I'm telling there? Same diagram. I'm going to repeat once again. Try to put more concentration, everybody. Try to understand it now. For example, this is like what there, class A. Here I have taken. This is what I'm taking there, class A. Observe carefully. Now inside this, what we are having there, class A. Now this is like what I'm telling there, class B. And here, this is like what I'm telling there, class C. Clear? Now I want to define the inheritance relation. Observe carefully. Arrows here I want to provide here. Understand these arrows now. This is like one thing. These are the inheritance relationships. Now try to understand it now. Now here we can say like what there extends relation here we are getting. What is this relation here now? Extends relation here we are getting. Okay. Now observe carefully. Now inside this class A, inside this class A, int I is equal to 10, void M1 method. Here we are having X implementation like this. Clear? Up to this, okay. Now see this one. In a class B, what I'm going to do now? In a class B, listen all of you. Same int I is equal to 20. And the same M1 method here I want to define. Inside this, we are having Y implementation. In both the super classes, variable name is same but different values. Method name is same but different implementation, different code. Now, in the child class, in class C, I'm trying to perform I is equal to I plus 10 and I want to call M1 method. I is equal to I plus 10, then I want to call what there M1 method. Observe carefully. Now, the point is like what I'm telling to you. When I access I is equal to I plus 10, now to perform this increment operation, I is equal to I plus 10, I value must be required or not? I value must be required or not? From where it has to get I value? The type variable is not defined in class C. Definitely it has to check for the type variable in its super classes. Am I right or not? So it has to get I value from super classes now. How many super classes are available for class C? Two super classes are available. Class A, class B. Unfortunate thing is what there, I variable is defined in both the super classes. I variable was defined in both the super classes. But here the question is, here now the question is what there, from which superclass I variable value is coming? Which superclass I variable we are using now inside the child class? That's the question. For example, if you think we are getting I variable value from class A superclass, no, then what's going to be happen? I is equal to I plus 10. I is equal to 10 plus 10. I value is like what there 20. Is it 20? Or if you think I value is coming from class B superclass, no. If you think I value is coming from what there class B superclass, no. In class B superclass, I value is what there 20. I is equal to I plus 10. I is equal to 20 plus 10. 30. Is it 30? Again, now another question. We are calling M1 method. M1 method was not defined in class C. So definitely it has to get that M1 method from superclasses. Unfortunate thing is M1 method was defined in both the superclasses. M1 method was existed in both the superclasses. But here the question is from which superclass that M1 method is coming to the subclass. Which superclass M1 method is accessed inside the child class. If you think that M1 method is coming from class A superclass, no, then where? Which implementation is going on here? No, X implementation is going on. Is it X implementation? If you think M1 method is coming from class B superclass, no, there which implementation is available? Y implementation. Is it Y implementation? Which implementation is going on here in this particular scenario? Now we have to answer for it. Now that tell me when I access I variable, if it is available in both the superclasses, no, from which superclass that I value is coming to the child class. If we access M1 method and if it is available in both the superclasses, no, from which superclass that M1 method is coming. That we have to understand clearly. Now tell me, it's totally a confusion state or not? It's totally a confusion state or not? Even compiler cannot decide. Even JVM is also not deciding from which superclass these values are coming. So for developers also it's a confusion. For compile and JVM, totally in everywhere it is a confusion oriented feature inside the Java. It is a confusion inside the Java. So once it is a confusion situation, indirectly we can understand multiple inheritance is providing confusion to the developers or not. Multiple inheritance is a confusion oriented feature or not. Multiple inheritance is what their confusion feature, confusion oriented feature. But Java is a simple programming language. Java is what there a simple programming language. It should not allow confusion oriented features in its programming. So because of that reason, simply Java has removed this total multiple inheritance from its programming. Of course, inheritance is available, single inheritance is available, multi-level inheritance is available, like hierarchical inheritance is available, but multiple inheritance is not existed in the case of Java. In the case of Java, multiple inheritance is not existed. Please try to recognize this point clearly. Why? Because it's a confusion oriented feature. When it is a confusion, when it is able to provide the confusion, no, when more than one superclass is having same variable with the different values, same method with a different implementation, and if we access that variable and method in the respective subclass, then there is a confusion like that from which superclass that variable and that method has to be accessed from the child class. It is a confusion. It's a confusion to compile and JVM and to the developers also, of course. So because of this reason, Java people have totally have excluded multiple inheritance part inside the Java. Are you forgetting it or not? Right, so now let me take this simple point here now here in our content here. Here itself I want to provide there. Why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java? I'm going to give the point here. If we declare same variable with the different values and the same method with different implementations in both the superclasses, and if we access that variable and method in the respective subclass, then which is superclass variable and which is superclass method and which is superclass method variable and which is superclass method is accessible from the respective subclass. That's it. Respective subclass is a confusion. Observe carefully. If we declare same variable with the different values and the same method with the different implementations in both the superclasses, and if we access that variable and method, in the respective subclass, then which superclass variable and which superclass method is accessible from the respective subclass is a confusion. That's it. Okay. But Java is a simple programming language. Java is a simple programming language. It must not allow confusion oriented features. It must not allow confusion oriented features. So multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java programming. Multiple inheritance was excluded in Java programming. Understand my point clearly? All right, sir. Then immediately I want to give this diagrammatic representation. Whatever the diagrammatic representation here I provided here, the total content here I want to provide. You may ask one more question to me here. Sir, actually there is a confusion with the third case. No confusion is available for the second case. Is that second case is allowed in Java or not? Still the point is what there? No. Because of third case only, even the second case no confusion, but still it is also be not allowed. Why? Because see, one time generalization if we provide, no, that could be applied for both the cases, even though some cases are advantage to us. Understand my point again? Even though the second case is advantage, no, but because of third case, no, the second case is also be excluded. Understand my point? But we don't know which situations will come in our Java programming. For example, if we allow multiple inheritance, no, there is no guarantee always we are able to use the second case. No. There is a chances to get like what their third cases also. No. Because of that reason, the totally Java people have eliminated this multiple inheritance. It's a programming in their programming. Or not? All right, sir. But how? Okay, theoretically, conceptually, we understood there. But how Java has excluded multiple inheritance? What setup they have done to avoid multiple inheritance? What they have done programmatically to restrict multiple inheritance in Java applications? Observe careful. I want to give one point here. Now try to understand it. No, in Java applications, to restrict multiple inheritance, Java has defined the extends keyword. Java has defined the extends keyword in such a way that Java has defined the extends keyword in such a way that to allow only one superclass name in a class syntax, in a subclass declaration. That means observe carefully. I'm going to provide the content here. Then what I'm providing there to you, observe carefully. Example code, related code here I'm telling you. Say for example here we're having class A. This is class A. Okay. Similarly, class B we have taken. Sir, clear? Next one is what there? Class C. I've taken. Class C. I've taken. All of you observe carefully. Class C extends A valid, no problem. Right or not? Next one is class D extends B. Okay, valid, no problem. Sir, got it or not? Both are valid here. Why? Because extends keyword has only one superclass name. Here also extends keyword has only one superclass here. Get my point or not? But now this example we have to recognize. No, what is this example here? Class E extends A comma B if we provide, no, extends A comma B if we provide, no, here this is invalid. Compilation error. Why, sir? Why we are getting compilation error? No, along with extends keyword only one superclass is allowed, comma is not allowed. Comma, at least not even class B, forget about class B, comma is not allowed. For class A the comma is not allowed. What's the meaning of comma? No, comma in the sense we are trying to provide some other or not. So that's why even comma is also not allowed after the superclass name along with our extends keyword. By defining extends keyword in this way, Sun Microsystems, that means Java, has restricted multiple inheritance in Java applications. Now here, what are allowed here? No, will you get any compilation error here? No, no, it is valid. Only one superclass here. Now this is like what there valid. Only one superclass there in the class syntax. Now, but here, what we provided here, more than one superclass we provided. But here, it is like what there invalid case. There we are getting what there compilation error. Sir, all of you are following or not? How multiple inheritance is possible? How multiple inheritance is not possible in Java? So this is the total story. All of you are getting clarity on it? No response, guys. Okay, can I ask some questions to you? Right, sir. Now tell me, what is an object-oriented programming language? Come on. What is an object-oriented programming language? Already I given the definition to you. Now try to understand it. All right. If any programming language is able to represent data in the form of objects by following object-oriented features, then that programming language is what they object-oriented programming language. How many number of object-oriented features are available? 7 number of features. What are the 7 number of features? No, class, object, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. Now here, what is required for us? No, inheritance. Now tell me, what is inheritance here? No, come on. It is a relation between classes. It is able to provide variables and methods from one class to another class. Here, what is that one class? No, super class. What is that another class? No, subclass. Here, that's nice. What is the main advantage of inheritance? No, code reusability. In the case of inheritance, we can declare the code at superclass and we can reuse the same code at any number of subclasses. That's the meaning of inheritance. Good. Initially, how many types of inheritances are available? Single and multiple, 2 types now. On the basis of these 2 inheritances now, how many types are defined here? 3 more types are defined. There, what is the single inheritance actually? It's the relation between classes. It's able to provide variables and methods from how many superclasses now? Only one superclass to one or more number of subclasses. That's okay, nice. Java does support or does not support single inheritance? Just does support what there is single inheritance. What is this multiple inheritance? No, it's a relation between classes. It will provide variables and methods from more than one superclass or single superclass. Now more than one superclass to one or more number of subclasses. In the case of types of inheritances, now always condition is available on number of superclass only. We don't have any condition on what their number of subclasses can. That's okay, fine. Java does not support multiple inheritance. Why Java does not support multiple inheritance? What is the problem actually? Right, sir, we can discuss even by seeing this diagram. Can if we declare more than one variable with the same name, sorry, if we declare a variable, if we declare the same variable with the different values, same method with the different implementation in both the superclasses, and if we access that variable and that method in the respective subclass, then it is a confusion for us from which superclass that variable and that method values are coming, that implementations are coming there. It's a confusion now. Answer my point here now. Right, sir. Because of this reason, so multiple inheritance is providing confusion. So Java is what there? Java is a simple programming language. It must not provide confusion. It must not provide what there? Confusion to the developers. It's a simple programming language. So to manage the Java and its simplicity, Java does not allow multiple inheritance in its programming. That's okay. The required diagram I provided here. But how Java has restricted multiple inheritance in its applications? No. Java has restricted this multiple inheritance. Java has restricted this multiple inheritance by defining extends keyword in such a way that to allow only one superclass name allowing in the subclass declaration, not to allow more than one superclass in the subclass declaration. In this way, here we are able to restrict that multiple inheritance. That programmatically I've given that class A, class B. Class C extends A valid, class D extends A valid, class E extends A comma B is invalid. Why? Because more than one superclass here we provided. There we are able to get like what there compilation error. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity on this points. No, that's it. Now this is clearly like what there point number 5. What we are having there multiple inheritance content here. Now clear? Right, sir. Now observe carefully. All of you know. Next one is another point here. Point number 6. Listen carefully. Simple point. Very simple point. Now try to understand it. No. Destructors are possible destructors are possible in C++, but destructors are not available in Java. Tell me guys, what is the point here? I'm telling that destructors are possible in C++, but destructors are not possible in Java. Good. Now this is a point here we have to understand. Right, sir. Before understanding destructors are possible or not possible in C++ and Java, before that, first of all, what is this destructor? What is the purpose of the destructor? From where we are able to get this destructors topic? This point here we have to understand now. Yes, sir. Now try to recognize this content here clearly. All of you know. What is the meaning of destructors here? That's the point I'm telling you. Now try to understand it now. First of all, tell me, what is an object-oriented programming language? If any programming language is representing data in the form of objects by following, come on, object oriented features is called an object oriented programming language. An object oriented programming language. That's okay, fine. This is the meaning of object oriented programming language. Observe carefully. In all the object oriented programming languages, data must be represented in the form of what? There objects. So that's a key point now in this particular point here. In object oriented programming languages, to represent data in the form of objects, first we have to create objects. So if you want to store data in the form of object, first we have to create object or not? First we have to create object, then we have to manage the data in the objects. First we have to create the object, then we have to manage the data in the form of objects, comma, at the end of the program, we must destroy the objects. Observe carefully. If you want to manage data in the form of objects, in the sense, two operations are mandatory. What are the two operations now? Creating objects. At the end of the program, we have to destroy the objects. Observe carefully. In object oriented programming, to create objects, we will use constructors. To create objects, we will use what? There constructors. Similarly, to destroy objects, we will use destructors. That's it. Now all of you now tell me, in object oriented programming, to create objects, we will use what? There constructors, and to destroy objects, we will use what? There destructors. Sir, all of you are getting it or not? Clear? To create objects, we will use constructors, and to destroy objects, we will use what? There destructors. Right? Clear to all of you know? Right, sir. That's okay, fine. Now all of you observe carefully. What is the purpose of destructors now? Come on, to destroy the objects. Right, sir. What is the purpose of constructors now? To create the objects. The point is what? Destructors are possible in what? There C++, but destructors are not possible, not available in what? There Java. Destructors are available in C++, but destructors are not available in Java. That's the point. All right. Now the reason I'm telling you, now try to understand it clearly. In C++, developers are responsible for creating the objects, and developers are responsible for creating the objects and destroying the objects. Developers are responsible for creating the objects and destroying the objects. Everybody observe carefully. In the case of C++, developers are responsible for creating the objects and destroying the objects. So here in C++ applications, to destroy objects, developers must use destructors. That's the requirement. Developers must use what their destructors. Developers must use what their destructors. Understand this point clearly. But in the case of Java, all of you observe carefully. In Java, in Java, developers are responsible for creating objects. Developers are responsible for creating objects only. Developers are responsible for creating objects only. Developers are, observe carefully, developers are not responsible for destroying objects. Developers are responsible for creating objects only. Developers are not responsible for destroying objects. Why? Because reason, understand this clearly. Why? Because in Java there is an inbuilt tool to destroy the objects automatically. Alright, sir. In Java, there is an inbuilt tool to destroy the objects automatically. Alright. Here in Java, the internal automatic object destructor. In Java, the internal tool. Here in Java, the internal tool to destroy the objects is what their garbage collector. Is it? Here in Java, the internal tool to destroy the objects is what their garbage collector. In Java, developers are responsible for creating objects only. Developers are not responsible for destroying objects. Why? Because in Java, there is an inbuilt tool to destroy the objects internally, to destroy the objects automatically. Here in Java, the internal tool to destroy the objects is what their garbage collector. Right, sir? The conclusion here I'm telling there, due to the availability of garbage collector in Java, developers are not required to destroy objects. So developers are not required to use distractors. Therefore distractors are not available in Java. That's it. Destructors are not available in Java. That's it. All of you are getting point now? Simple points only. These are the simple difference. Why I'm giving all these points now? Interviewer may ask a question to you. If you keep in your resume, if you provide skill set C, C++, Java, like this, if you provide no, interviewer may ask this question there. Tell me some differences between C, C++, Java. When interviewer is asking this question, at least we have to see the titles. We have to give the titles. If you remember this explanation here, at least if we provide this explanation, and the first question itself, interviewer will get impression by seeing your answers. That's why we have to open our mouth and we have to give these many points there directly. Because of that reason only here I'm discussing about all these points. Okay, fine. Almost all. How many points here we completed there overall? 6 points we completed here. Just 3 more points are available. Maybe. And tomorrow, small points only. Tomorrow I'm able to complete all the 3 more points here. After that, I will start a new topic here now. Max, within 4 to 5 days of time, I'm going to start 1.5 hour slot. 1.5 hour slot I will start it just within 4 to 5 days of time. Max maybe. Max next Monday onwards. We can think of it. Up to the time, just 1 hour class is going on, and then after that we are going to see somewhat extra sessions there now, right? Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. I'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll see the remaining content here. Thank you.